This video is brought to you by Gateway Subaru, higher standards. Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best each and every week to keep it tasteful, but discretion is advised.
Now, enjoy the show.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, higher standards.
This week on the show.
Fish on, fish on, fish on!
It's a rite of spring on the Chesapeake. The Trophy Rock have arrived at last. We're on the troll for the big boys. It would take more than rough conditions to keep these anglers from hauling in some monster stripers.
And if you can't get out on the bay for the big fish, there's always a little bridge somewhere where you can soak in the scenery, hang out with the guys and swap stories, and even catch a little fish now and then. Barbecuing is some serious business, whether it's in the backyard or at this major Delmarva cook-off. We caught up with one young pitmaster who's made a lot of friends in spite of the competition. Hear about his inspiring story right now on Outdoors Delmarva.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, higher standards. And now, here's Andrew Tawes.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Andrew Tawes. We'll be checking in with my partner, Captain Willie Dykes, in just a few minutes. But first, it's finally here, the start of the Trophy Rock season here in Maryland. I'm aboard the Tina Louise out here in the Tangier Sound, just off of Deal Island. And as you can see, the seas are a little bit rough. It's not exactly a calm day out here, but that certainly didn't stop any of us from coming out in search of Maryland's official fish. The sun is yet to rise as anglers step aboard the Tina Louise in Winona. Rigs and rods are ready, and the crew is patiently waiting the short ride into the Tangier Sound. A ride they hope will lead them to Maryland's favorite fish, the rockfish. But Mother Nature is not exactly inviting Captain Larry Tawes, mate Steve Milligan, and the 8 members of this fishing party out into the Sound.
We've got 15-20 northwest winds right now. We had a bad storm last night. Hopefully ain't shook them up. I expect a good morning. Well, sometimes the wind really helps rock fishing.
Leaving behind the peaceful waters of the harbor, Captain Larry leads us out in search of the big stripers. And since this is Trophy Rock season, fish have to be 28 inches or greater, and you only get 1 per person. Here's to hoping the wind does help with rock fishing, as there is plenty of it. Fortunately, there's some cover on the Tina Louise, because the Tangier Sound is doing its best to come aboard. As we arrive, the anglers have a foolproof method of determining the order of the catch.
Drill cards, choose your bait.
And mate Steve gets to work.
Always make sure when I put them in the water that the hair is not wrapped up around the string. Figure if I won't eat it, the fish won't either.
You need to be pretty organized to troll up to 20 lines. Larry and Steve work their magic to make it all happen, and the anglers are on standby.
I mean, that's 125 feet from the boat, so we're covering 250 feet every time we go by here.
With only a handful of lines out, the first fish is on.
There he is. Who's up first? Fish on.
James Summers of Parsonsburg drew the low card, and he's ready to crank.
Did it take long? No. That's a good thing.
And when trolling with a lot of rods, it can be a delicate dance to keep them all in order.
This needs to go across the long line. Grab the long line. All right, that goes across. Yeah, I was trying to get it up in the rod holder, and he snatched it. You never know when they're going to hit it. You always got to be prepared.
You can finally see the leader and the fish. Then the first catch of the day is netted and brought aboard.
I got it, Larry. First one of the year. We started fishing, now we're catching.
And catching is what we would be doing.
Get him. Whoever's next, who's next?
Fish on, fish on, fish on! Right down, right down.
Captain Larry has been putting us on the fish, so I check in with him to see how it's going.
Going back to where I marked a group of fish earlier, and hopefully they'll be there. Caught a few strays here, but not really seen a group of fish at all.
But soon enough, we are back on it, and each angler steps up for their chance to reel in a trophy rock.
He's going crazy, Larry. Coming land. Got it. Nice fish. Big one out of the dark.
And with this monster striper, it was proven a challenge to keep the fish in the cooler. Not to be outdone was 12-year-old Kevin Dons. The battle goes on and on before the fish is netted, and Kevin even hangs tough through the pounding seas.
That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Striper's gone wild.
I knew he's big, but I didn't know he was going to be that big.
Once all the other anglers had their fish, it was my turn to crank one in.
That took a while, but I finally got him in. Well worth the wait, too. Good job.
And after limiting out on opening day of the spring rock season, Tina Louise returns to the much calmer shores of Winona.
Get outdoors, Delmarva!
Coming up next on the show, you don't need a big boat out on the bay to have some fun fishing. We're going to one local hotspot where spring is in the air and the fish are in the water, at least for now. But first, did you know? The rock we've been catching this season are huge, but the recreational record for Chesapeake Bay striped bass is a whopping 67 pounds, 8 ounces. So, what is the largest recorded striped bass caught in mid-Atlantic waters? The answer, when we come back.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher Standards. Sponsored by Ocean City Tourism. Shorts Marine. Shooter's Choice. Sussex Outdoors. And Aurora Agronomy. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
That's what I'm talking about.
Did you know? According to the Maryland DNR, the largest recorded striped bass caught in mid-Atlantic waters was taken off the coast of North Carolina way back in 1891. It was a female weighing in at a mind-blowing 125 pounds. Well, you should have seen the one that got away.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Captain Willie Dykes. If you can't make it out on the big water in the big boats for the big fish, check the river swamp and see if the prothonotary warbler is back, or see if the dogwoods are about to bloom, or check the river bridge over the Pocomoke River at Porter's Crossing, because the shad and herring are about to run.
One of Delmarva's favorite rites of spring and best excuses to get outdoors is fishing the annual shad and herring spawning run in the area's rivers and creeks. Here at Porter's Crossing, it's a long and treasured tradition.
How many years have you been fishing here, Roger?
50-something.
Yeah, a little bit of experience.
These scrappy members of the herring family are high-speed, low-drag ocean dwellers that travel from Florida to Canada along the coast for 3 to 6 years before they return to fresh water to lay up to 300,000 eggs each.
There you go, female. There's the eggs. See you, buddy. Thank you.
Overfishing and habitat degradation have reduced the population so drastically that the season is closed, and each fish must be carefully handled and immediately released.
Local fellas who told me where the fishing is, and I really enjoy it. Really enjoy it.
The river is narrow and the bridge is small, but being in just the right place is still crucial to success.
Look at that. That's same river, same bridge, and it, like I say, luck stays on one side for a while and it jumps around to the other side.
Having the right lure is important, and styles have changed in the last couple of years.
But the shad will bend the hook.
Yeah.
The the hooks are not strong enough for the big shad.
Yeah, well, it is a tiny hook.
Right. So now that one.
The Pocomoke here at Porter's holds a half-dozen species of game fish, and white and yellow perch, bass, pickerel like this little fellow here, and some more exotic specimens are not uncommon.
The gar yesterday.
Really?
A big large gar. And luckily I had him over there and he got off before I had to bring him up, but it was a big gar.
As the morning wore on, a few more anglers drifted in, and local regular big bird cropper pulled one in with a fancy black and pink combination.
We call him poor man's tarpon. Poor man's tarpon. Yeah, man.
A fringe benefit of fishing Porter's is the free commentary on your style and reputation and a critique on your technical skill.
Showing off your expert cast, you end up with something in the tree.
That's his favorite tree. Oh, no.
We weren't the only anglers on this stretch of the river, and this great blue heron seemed content to share the perfect morning, fish or no fish. The action waxes and wanes, and everybody knows you should have been here yesterday, but one thing's for sure. Winter's officially over now that the shad are running at Porter's.
We're getting outdoors, Delmarva.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, you can get by with a little help from your friends, even in the world of competition barbecue. We'll meet one young pitmaster who's developed quite the following.
Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
The world of competition barbecue can be a fiery one, and with big prize money at stake, you'd think there'd be no love lost amongst the participants. But think again, it can also be like one big extended family, and one young up-and-coming pitmaster is about to get the surprise of his life.
It's time once again for Pork in the Park. Now in its 10th year, it's become the largest KCBS-sanctioned barbecue competition east of the Mississippi, and it's right here on Delmarva. 108 teams gather on Friday night to attend the Cooks meeting for the big contest on Saturday. In attendance is a veteran of the event, and at the ripe old age of 13, Salisbury resident Dylan Booth is gearing up for the amateur competition on Sunday. And what happens to him after the Cooks meeting tonight is something he's unlikely to ever forget. But for now, let's get back to the competition itself, and more importantly, the tools of the trade, namely the smoker.
I like a stick-burning smoker. A good cooker makes a cook better.
And it doesn't seem to matter if you use wood or charcoal. It's all in the skill of the pitmaster. And at Sunday's amateur competition, we find young Dylan Booth and his team, the Tribal Smokers, hard at work on today's entries. He's even enlisted the help of his uncle, Bob McCoy of Broke Bob's Barbecue.
I'm just here looking at temperatures. Other than that, I'm the lazy guy on the crew.
But he's pretty much on his own. Actually, he has the help of a lot of friends. Let's rewind back to Friday night after the Cooks meeting. A group of fellow competitors stopped by Broke Bob's to wish Dylan good luck in Sunday's competition.
He's got a palate for it, and on top of that, he's got the desire. We're going to have to worry about him here very, very soon.
After all, these guys have had years of experience, so Dylan's age puts him at a disadvantage. But that's not the only uphill battle he's had to fight.
I wish I dealt with adversity as well as he does. When you talk to him, it's like talking to an adult because he's spent so much time with nurses and doctors.
Lots of hospital stays, surgeries. He has brain tumors, and so we've been back and forth to Hopkins for the last 6 years now, and fighting a battle that he'll have for the rest of his life. So anytime that he gets to do this and just be a normal kid and have a good time, and I couldn't ask for any more.
And tonight, his friends have all chipped in to give him a chance to compete with the big boys by presenting him with the last smoker he needs for full competition, along with a gadget or two, or three, or many.
This is
like Christmas. She wanted to know how much another drum smoker would be. And within 5 minutes, one of the other barbecuers, George Hensler, sent me an email.
Put a couple of posts up and see if anybody would be interested in maybe kicking up. And geez, we were overwhelmed.
It's going to allow him to do a full contest.
Pitching in, it was a great deal for everybody.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Literally surprised?
Yes.
What are you going to do with all that stuff?
Use it. They're nice enough to give me all this stuff, so I feel special.
But on Sunday at the Amateurs, Dylan's toughest battle is with his ribs.
Just healing the membrane. That's the worst part about it.
However, judging by his slew of trophies, we think he's up to the task.
Get outdoors, Delmarva.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, we go fishing with Scorchy on this week's Scorchy's Corner Classic.
Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
As you saw a little earlier in the show, the Tangier Sound can be a hot spot for catching fish. We took a look back and found out that it's been that way for quite a while. On this week's Scorchy's Corner Classic, we go time traveling for trout.
Fred Blackiston and I planned to fish the Nanticoke but found very slim pickings, so we continued on to Hooper Straits. After anchoring up, admiring the scenery, and picking up a couple of trout, we pulled anchor and started adrift.
If it's a drumwood, I think it's a skate.
Indeed, it was a skate, and enough is enough. So we scurried to one of Tangier Sound's current lands of enchantment, that area roughly a mile outside the Winona breakwater. Here, at the present, it's like fishing in the twilight zone, where every drop of the line leads to a fish, and fishing dreams are quickly realized. Okay, yes, these are small trout, mostly in the 12 to 15-inch class. They are not big fish that will break your body, defeat your mind, or snap your spirit. But lurking in their collective shadows are big black drum, and that fact alone will broaden your attention span. Like we've said before, no matter what the purists say, the #1 reason for fishing is to catch fish. And here is one of the early season bright hot spots. A chunk of peeler or soft crab on a 2/0 hook in 40 to 45 feet of water will start your elbows pumping, if not your heart a-pounding. It's the kind of fishing for those not overly endowed with fishing patience, the kind that makes storytellers out of people and fills up freezers very quickly. Scorchy Tawes wandering our Delmarvelous land for WBOC News.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva,
your viewer videos and pictures.
Outdoors Delmarva viewer pictures are sponsored by Wink Sporting Goods. And we'll be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Sponsored by Ocean City Tourism, Shorts Marine, Shooter's Choice, Sussex Outdoors, and Aurora Agronomy.
Time now to take a look at some videos and pictures sent in by our own Outdoors Delmarva viewers. Being it is rock season, here's a nice trophy fish caught by 15-year-old Holt Jahelka. Measuring 40 inches, it's the biggest one he's ever caught, and he did it with a white umbrella rig off of Deal Island. And we love the hat. Since it's still turkey season, Fred Litchfield captured this image of a couple of gobblers making their way through the woods in Snow Hill, Maryland. He was able to get this photo with a trail cam. And 8-year-old J.J. Harding of Hurlock, Maryland limited out on flounder and watchaprig. Looks like it was a great day.
Well, Andrew, it's been a busy week from getting out on the water to getting behind the grill.
Yeah, it sure has, and we're looking forward to some more next week. So, for my partner, Cat and Willie Dykes, I'm Andrew Tawes, reminding you to get outdoors, Delmarva.